on Sundays I post sciencey ASMR videos. On Mondays I post something of my choice, and on Tuesdays you tell me what you would like to see from me, and I post something of your choice. So if you have any suggestions for any videos, leave them down in the comments. And if you find this video don't forget to click subscribe, and let's get into today's video. So it has been requested a number of times for me to cover fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. So that's what this video is about, as you probably guessed from the title. That is fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. FASD. FASD is a group of lifelong disorders that are caused by the fetus being exposed to alcohol during pregnancy. There are four main types of FASD. They are fetal alcohol syndrome, FAS. This is the most serious form of FASD. There is also partial fetal alcohol syndrome, PFAS, which has fewer, less severe symptoms. There are also alcohol-related neurodevelopmental disorders, ARND, which are the brain-related effects only, and there are alcohol-related birth defects, ARBD, which are physical defects. They're not necessarily learning or behavior issues. These conditions can affect how a child looks, grows, learns, behaves, and functions for life. And I will link a paper in the description, which is where I got all this information from. It is by Denny and colleagues. It was published in 2017. The title is Fetal Alcohol Syndrome and Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders, published in the journal American Family Physician. So this paper mentioned some stats on alcohol use during pregnancy in the US at the time. They reported that alcohol use during pregnancy in the US rose from 7.6% in 2012 to 10.2% in 2015. They also reported that binge drinking, which is defined as having 4 or more